Hi everyone and welcome back to the next diecast. So for today's video I'm going to be doing another installment of Ask the Collector. So today I'll be showing you a few, I guess, kind of low-key customizations you can do to your models using a metallic Sharpie. Most of what I'll be showing you today was done with this silver Sharpie, but there's other stuff you can do. Like Sharpies in like the metallic colors come in, I think, also bronze and gold. So there are things you can do with those as well, but most of what I'll be showing you today was done with this silver Sharpie. And it's kind of, I guess, a nice alternative to using paint because it's not like as permanent as paint, and there's less, chance of error if you just use like a marker. So one of the many things you can do with a Sharpie and your model cars in order to customize them a bit is make aluminum looking pedals. Now, brushed aluminum a lot of times is used in cars, I guess, to kind of add to like their appearance on the interior and everything like that. And they look cool, especially like in supercars and muscle cars and whatnot. So here's Maisto's 2010 Ford Mustang Gt. I made silver pedals in here. I'll show you those real quick. There they are there. And they really do kind of add to the overall look of this interior because on 2005 through 2014 Mustangs, they did like the aluminum dashboard and steering wheel, and I think the pedals really accentuate the detail more. These were pretty easy to do. I just kind of open up the door, open the Sharpie, of course, and just kind of color them in like so. Some cars are going to be more difficult to make the pedals silver. You'd have to probably take it apart so you don't, mess up like the flooring or anything like that. But this one was pretty easy. I didn't have to take apart like the panels or anything, or I just had to open up the door, and there it was. So that's just one of the many things you can do with a Sharpie, and it really does look good, especially from like angles or if you have like the doors open. And this is going to work on pretty much any model, especially Ford Mustangs because they have that metallic dashboard or the metal dashboard. I also did the pedals in this 2004 Chevy Colorado by Maisto. I'll open that up. Same deal in here, just thought it would kind of add to the appearance of this interior, and it really does. It looks good, especially because that center console there, or the center stack there, has like a silver trim to it. And now it's kind of like a three-tone interior because it's got the silver, the brown, and the tan, which is nice to see. Same thing for this one. It's a pretty wide opening, so I was able to get the marker in there and just do it without taking apart the model or anything like that. And again, it's kind of more for like appearance's sake. I don't think the real Colorado, especially in like the base LS trim, came with silver pedals, but it just kind of adds to like the overall look of the car. Another thing you can do with a metallic Sharpie is repair badges on your models that may have faded or maybe they weren't painted on properly. So with my gold Sharpie, I was able to restore this Chevy bow tie logo. Now with Maistos, any kind of chrome is going to be very prone to fading if it's out in the open for a long time. You can see here the silver is already kind of going away. This Colorado I got probably 12 years ago at like BJ's or somewhere. And the gold on this logo was almost completely faded, like just gone, completely gone. So what I did around last year, I would say, I took a gold Sharpie and I just kind of re-highlighted that bow tie once again. And it came out really good. Like, you can't even tell that it was ever faded away or anything like that. And it isn't like a chrome finish either, just like the real badge. The real badge has kind of like a smooth, almost matte texture or matte finish. And it came out like that on this logo, so it looks really, really good. And same thing with like the silver Sharpie. I have another Mustang that it had like the square border around the logo and it kind of faded away like into black, so all I did was I highlighted it with a silver Sharpie, and it came out good. So if you have any badges on your models that are fading away or anything like that, you can kind of, I guess, refinish them with a Sharpie, and it makes them look good. Okay, so this Jeep here, this also has the pedals in it too. I just forgot to mention that earlier. We'll open that up. Silver pedals, it's kind of hard to see. There you go. Silver pedals, I would say, can really make like an otherwise like dark and drab like car interior look really good. A lot of time, what Maisto's been doing recently on a lot of their models is that they've been making like these all black interiors, so it makes it hard to kind of see like detail in them and whatnot, especially in like from the angle I'm standing at right now. I can't see any, like I can't even see like the outline of the steering wheel in this interior. It's just because the way I'm holding the phone right now kind of has like the sunlight on it. But if you want to add petals to your, or add silver petals to your models, it really makes the interior, I guess, kind of pop out a bit more in terms of detailing, especially in like an all black interior, because that way there's like highlights and everything in there. So that's kind of cool to see. And if you really wanted to, you could maybe detail your wheels with like a silver Sharpie or a gold Sharpie. Just be careful, because if you mess up, you might have to like repaint the wheel to its original color or anything like that. It works better if they're originally black wheels, because that way you can just color it in with like a black Sharpie again, or just paint them black. If they were silver like this, it might be a bit harder to make them back to like their original look. So just be careful like with that kind of stuff. Other things you can do with Sharpies. Now, I didn't do anything to this engine with a Sharpie, but sometimes you'll see like little silver detailing in engines and all that. You can also kind of make more details in engine pieces. Like if there's wiring you want to color in silver, or if there's like, you know, little pieces here and there, it kind of adds to the look of a car engine. A lot of times Maisto in their recent engine designs, they'll just have like one kind of black, plain looking plastic piece. And if you add some silver detailing here and there, it really does kind of look good. This one I'm not going to really add anything to, I don't think, because there's some color in there, like there's the Jeep logo and all that kind of stuff. But that's just another thing you can do with the Sharpies. Let's just close up that hood. And last but not least, another thing you can do with these metallic Sharpies is seatbelt buckles. Not just seatbelts, but the buckles on seatbelts. Seatbelt buckles on a lot of Maisto and other budget models are usually never painted silver. They're just kind of molded like black. They're just black or beige, or they usually just match the color of the actual seatbelt. So on this BMW Z8 by Maisto, I went ahead and I colored in the seatbelt buckles silver with the silver Sharpie. And again, it really kind of adds a lot to the interior, because it looks like they're very like real looking buckles. These weren't that hard to do. You just got to be careful and kind of go slowly so you don't get any silver on like the seat or on like the fabric part of the seat belt. But you can do that to pretty much any model car that doesn't have silver seat belt buckles. Just highlight it with the silver Sharpie, and there you have your detailed seat belt buckles. And yeah, from pretty much every angle, this really kind of stands out. As you can probably tell, adding any kind of customizations to convertibles on the interior is probably the best, because you can see the whole inside of these cars from any angle. So adding, you know, extra features and customizations really, you know, makes them pop out more from the detail that they already have. So last but not least, this Ford Thunderbird made by Beanstalk Group. Excuse me. I also did the seat belts in. This was a little bit easier because they were just kind of plain looking squares, so I was able to kind of highlight them with the silver Sharpie. And this is an already like amazingly detailed interior, and the seatbelt buckles I think add even more to that detail. You can see like there's kind of like a fabric effect to the belt there, and there's the silver buckle. So that was pretty easy to do. And only 5,000 of this model was actually made, so this might be the only one in the world that has silver seatbelt buckles on it now, just because I did that to them. So that's something kind of cool there. But overall, there's a lot you can do with these metallic Sharpies on your model cars. If you're like a novice to customizing models, which I pretty much am, I know a lot of people, they'll get like aftermarket wheels for their cars, or like they'll do different paint jobs. If you want to kind of customize your model cars in like a very quick and easy way that has little to no chance of error, then doing these little touches with the silver Sharpie is the way to go. Like I said earlier, it's also great for like restoring badges or making any kind of like minor like repairs to your models. Even if you have like a silver painted model car, and if there's like a minor paint chip, if you just dab this on there, it looks okay. Like it turns out okay. It's not going to look like silver paint, but it's going to look better than just like a bare metal or like a paint chip itself. But yeah, overall, there was actually an impressive number of things you can do with a Sharpie and your model cars. So I hope this helps. I know it's kind of a bit random for like a model car help video series, but it's just something that I do with some of my cars. I don't do customizations to all my model cars per se. I do them to just like a select few that either could use them, or if I see details that are, I guess, missing or absent, I'll add them with the Sharpie. But yeah, it's a cool thing to do. All right, I hope this helps, and please feel free to leave any comments or questions below in the video. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to Nick's Diecast, and also be sure to follow my Instagram page, Nick's Diecast page, which is all lowercase and no spacing. Thanks for watching.